However, in the narcissistic family, generally from what I know, is that the family scapegoat, or the rebel child is another name for the family scapegoat. They are generally the one who ends up getting addicted to drugs. If anybody is going to get addicted to drugs, it's going to be them. And when they do, they're generally scapegoated for that again. So in my family of origin, I had some addiction issues around marijuana and then alcohol. And, I had to go home and live with my parents at the time. And I guess they did offer support. However, though, behind my back, it was very non-supportive, and it was very like, some of the behaviour that I engaged in, which was drug addiction behaviour and poor impulse control and things like that. My secrets were told behind my back to other family members, and, I was shunned from things. A family member wouldn't allow me to have contact with their children, and in the scheme of things, I was only addicted to pot. I wasn't a violent person or anything like that. But in a narcissistic family unit, in circumstances like that, all of your secrets will be told. Your narcissistic parent might get on the phone and tell aunts and uncles and all these people all these things that you're doing that, they're private things that parents really need to just keep in the family. But they use it against that scapegoated victim to basically just say, you are no good and you are so basically the scapegoat becomes the identified patient more so. I mean, they've been told their whole lives there is something fundamentally wrong with them, because they're the child that's usually exposed to the family system. They're usually the challenging child, the cheeky child, highly intelligent, a lot of them are. And so they're not clone-like. So the other siblings, they often become cloned, and things that are very distressing, the cloned-like siblings, they won't get distressed about those things, whereas the scapegoat, they're the more enlightened one, and they kind of go, well, that's actually not really okay what you're doing, and so they will challenge that. And how I believe this leads to drug addiction is that because they expose the narcissist in the family unit, the narcissist has to actually turn that back around and say, well, actually, no, I'm not the one doing anything wrong, because narcissists can't be accountable for anything, and everything is your fault in any arguments that you have with them. So what they do is they end up turning that around onto this scapegoated child who might just be 10 or 11, and just saying, well, actually, Mum, I don't like what you're doing, or I'd prefer that you didn't call me that name, or so they're usually very assertive. But then what can happen is the narcissist, because they don't want to be accountable, they'll turn around and say, well, we've got a problem child here, because they're reacting to the things that the narcissist says or does. So the narcissist might goad them and provoke and provoke and provoke, and because the scapegoat is the more, I guess, they'll react to the abuse and engage with the narcissist, which narcissists love. They end up, the narcissist ends up going, well, I can get a reaction out of you whenever I want, so I'm just going to provoke you even more. And then they start to brainwash the entire family into thinking that this child has a behavioural issue. And that they have all these problems. Or if they start talking about the abuse, they might say that the child's a liar, things like this. And then the child just grows up with this really poor self-image, and this is what happened to me, and the self-esteem is so bad, and they've got no confidence because they're constantly being gaslighted, told that what they saw didn't happen, told that they're overreacting to abusive behaviour.